everybody, welcome to the Bookwyrm's Lair. Today we're reviewing a classic Regency-age comedy of manners. Romance, classicism, witty spinsters, dashing officers, murder! Wait, what? Oh, whoops, silly me. This is Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor, the first in the Jane Austen mystery series by Stephanie Barron. My bad. Now, this may be a bit of a spoiler, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I am very, very gentle with crisp new books. I went ape on a roommate and best friend because he lately rumpled a page on my pre-ordered brand spanking new, first in the local domain copy of Changeling the Lost. But how do you know I'm in love with a novel? It's held together with scotch tape and hope. Admittedly, I bought this one in a used bookstore, but it wasn't as bad when I bought it. Scout's honor, I promise, next time there's a spoiler on my show, you'll have more warning. The series is supposedly taken from the rediscovered journals and correspondence of Jane Austen herself, dealing not only with the inspiration behind her timeless novels, but also her secret skills in investigation, which makes sense considering her comedy of manners style writing. This novel in particular deals with Miss Jane solving the murder of her best friend's husband, the Earl of Scargrave, against the backdrop of a Regency Christmas house party. Kind of like Clue, but with more classicism and sexism, and less Tim Curry in a suit. Miss Jane has to contend with sinister loan sharks, bitchy socialites, mysterious femme fatales, a brooding and sensitive father what-a-waste, a dashing soldier who seems to want in every woman's petticoats, even a ghost that seems to follow her from country house to the stylish townhouses of London. The characters feel like they fell right out of a BBC miniseries, from bratty, airheaded Fanny to elegant and tragic Isabel to stoic and manly Fitzroy, implied to be the inspiration for Mr. Darcy. Any fan of Pride and Prejudice or Emma will recognize these people immediately. The writing is deliciously detailed, but not to the point where it feels like a crappy fanfic. It's well researched without hackneyed exposition and info dumps. Peter Tremaine, take notice, this is what footnotes are for. The writing also sounds like Jane Austen novels should. I have yet to read the collections of her letters, so I don't know if this is what she sounded like, but Stephanie Barron clearly wrote this book with the love of the great lady in her mind and heart. I'm especially fond of her descriptions of real-life relatives of Miss Jane, Eliza, Comtesse de Filide, widow of a French count, lady of fashion, and a survivor of the French Revolution. What a gal! Can I have her wardrobe when she's done with it? In contrast, but equally well handled, is the legal system of Regency England, from the chaotic trial held in a tavern, to the final trial in the House of Lords, to the court-martial of the charming but troublesome soldier, and even the depressing and barbaric women's prison that Miss Jane's friend is locked when framed for murder. The author handles her research and source material like the well-honed tool it deserves to be. The romance subplots are carried off pretty well, if resolved in a bit of a deus ex machina move, but happily ever afters are sort of a staple of the literature of the time, so I can forgive it. Besides, the foyer between Miss Jane and Lord Trowbridge, the dastardly loan shark plaguing her newly widowed friend, is far more entertaining. But then foyer usually is. My only problem is that this book drags in places, but nowhere that could be legitimately cut out. Admittedly, this is a fairly typical flaw of Jane Austen's writing. This isn't a fast-paced book that keeps you on the edge of your seat. This is a leisurely beach read. Not that that's a bad thing, but with a novel that deals with a sleuth rushing to get her best friend out of a murder rap, you'd think there'd be a shade more urgency in the narrative. There are also red herrings where there's no point in having red herrings. A few of the false leads were brilliantly done, but a couple of them really don't contribute much to the story. Not even much suspense. I felt a little cheated on that front. I highly recommend this book for cozy mystery fans. Fans of Jane Austen and Regency history and history geeks alike. Just don't go in expecting anything too hard-boiled, and if you're conservative, I'd think twice before letting your kids read this. There is mention of pregnancy out of wedlock and shotgun marriages. But otherwise, I'd consider this a safe reading choice for teens starting around 12 to 15 years of age. Now here's my rating system. Every book gets a star. The color indicates my approvals. Red is the lowest I'll go, through orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and finally violet. Silver, gold, white, and black stars are special ratings I have yet to award to anything I've read. But give it time. This novel, I'll give it a blue star. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a fun book and one I'm proud to have read. Heck, I'd even recommend the rest of the series. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Join me next week for more literary legerdemain and intellectual enchantment down here in the Lair. Until then, I'm Jane Grey, wishing you a good book to curl up with. Bye!